Hello, everyone, and welcome. Have you ever stopped to think about the things you use every day? The clothes you're wearing, or perhaps the phone in your hand? Well, they are all products of India's incredible manufacturing sector. It's truly the engine that powers our country forward. So today, we are going to understand exactly how this engine works.
So, here is our plan for today. We'll start with the basics. Why is manufacturing so important? Then we will learn how we can group or classify different industries. After that, we'll look at some of the biggest industries in India. And to finish, we'll discuss a very important topic, the relationship between industry and our environment.
All right, let's begin with our first section. We often hear this phrase, don't we? That manufacturing is the backbone of the economy. But what does that actually mean? Let's really dig into why this process of making things is so very crucial for our country's development.
So first things first, what exactly is manufacturing? The definition says it is the production of goods in large quantities after processing raw materials to create more valuable products. Now, let's break that down. In simple words, it means taking something basic, a raw material, say cotton from a field, and turning it into something much more useful and valuable, like a t-shirt. And this is done in huge quantities, in factories. That process of transformation is what manufacturing is all about.
Okay, so why is this process so important for a country? Let's look at the key reasons. For one, manufacturing helps to modernize our agriculture. It gives farmers things like pumps and fertilizers. At the same time, it creates millions of jobs in factories, which helps to fight unemployment and poverty. When we export these manufactured goods, we earn foreign exchange, which is very good for our economy. You see, industry and agriculture are not separate. They depend on each other. They grow together.
Now, as you can imagine, there are countless industries in India, from a small workshop to a massive steel plant. To study them properly, we need to be able to group them, to classify them. So in this next section, we'll learn a framework for how to do just that.
Now, this table is very important, so let's go through it carefully. There are 5 main ways we can classify industries. The first is based on the raw materials they use. Are they agro-based, using things from farms like cotton? Or are they mineral-based, using minerals from the earth like iron ore? The second way is based on their main role. Is it a basic industry like steel, which supplies materials to other industries? Or is it a consumer industry, making things that we use directly, like toothpaste? Third, we can classify them by capital investment. A small-scale industry, for example, is one with an investment of up to 1 crore rupees. Fourth is based on ownership. Is it a public company owned by the government, a private one, a joint venture, or a cooperative? And finally, we can look at the bulk and weight of their goods. Is it a heavy industry like iron and steel, or a light industry that produces lighter goods?
Okay, so now that we have this framework, this way of classifying industries, let's see it in the real world. We're going to take a closer look at some of India's most important industries, its industrial giants.
First up, a perfect example of an agro-based industry, cotton textiles. A majority of these industries are found in Maharashtra and Gujarat. And why there? Well, it's because everything they need is right there. There's easy availability of raw cotton, a good transport network, plenty of cheap labor, and even the moist climate is perfect for spinning the yarn without it breaking.
Now, let's travel to the east of India, to West Bengal. Here we find another important agro-based industry, jute textiles. Most of the jute mills are located along the Hooghly River basin, and again, the reason is location. They are close to the areas where jute is grown. The river provides an inexpensive way to transport goods, and, very importantly, processing raw jute requires a lot of water, which is available in abundance.
Now, this one is very interesting. Let's talk about the sugar industry. Recently, there has been a trend of mills shifting to the southern and western states, especially Maharashtra. And there's a good scientific reason for this. The sugarcane grown there has a higher sucrose content. That means more sugar can be produced from it. Also, the cooler climate allows for a longer crushing season. This is where cooperative industries have been very successful.
Let's move on to a mineral-based industry, the iron and steel industry. Now, if you remember our classification, this is a perfect example of a basic or key industry because it provides the raw material, steel, for so many other industries. It's also a heavy industry. Most of these plants are located in the Chotnagpur Plateau region because this area is rich in low-cost iron ore and there's also access to cheap labor.
And now we come to a more modern industry, information technology and electronics. This sector produces a huge range of products, from televisions to computers. And when we think of electronics in India, one city comes to mind, doesn't it? Bengaluru, which is often called the electronic capital of our country.
So we have seen how important industries are for economic development. But we must also look at the other side of the coin. This industrial growth, while necessary, also has a major impact on our environment. So in our final section, we will discuss this very important challenge.
Industries contribute to 4 major types of pollution. Let's look at them one by one. Number 1 is air pollution. This is caused by harmful gases like sulfur dioxide, which are released from factories. Number 2 is water pollution. This happens when industrial waste is discharged into rivers without being treated. Number 3 is something called thermal pollution. This is when hot water from factories is released into rivers, which harms aquatic life. And number 4 is noise pollution from industrial machinery and construction work.
This statement here really sums up the whole problem. We need development, of course, but we also need to protect our environment. The two must go hand in hand. So the question is, how can we achieve this balance? One of the most important solutions is treating industrial wastewater. This is done in a 3-step process. Let's see. Step 1 is primary treatment. This involves mechanical methods, like using screens to remove the large solid particles. Step 2 is secondary treatment. Here, biological processes are used to clean the water. And finally, Step 3 is tertiary treatment. This is the most advanced stage. It uses a combination of biological, chemical, and physical processes and makes the water clean enough to be recycled. Besides treating water, there are several other things that industries can do. For example, they can minimize the use of water by reusing and recycling it. Rainwater harvesting is another great way to meet water needs. To reduce air pollution, smokestacks can be fitted with filters. Factories can also switch to cleaner fuels like oil or gas instead of using coal. And to control noise, machinery can be fitted with silencers. And so, we come to the end. I want to leave you with a question to think about. As you are the next generation, how do you think India can balance industrial growth with environmental protection? It is a very big challenge, and one that your generation will play a crucial role in solving. Thank you so much for your attention today.